Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a layout for the Erica Rose Creates design team using the Leafy Vine cut file. This, I think, is probably an older one, but I just thought it was beautiful and decided to cut it out in a green that will match the Hello Again collection from Doodlebug. So I sized it up to be 11 inches tall, I guess, because I knew I would border my layout and my white background paper would be 11 by 11. I just think this is a great way to fill in that space. I have these two photos here that I am just going to mat and stack right on top of each other. And that is going to fill up the rest of the 11 by 11 paper. So just a really fun cut file. I, again, decided not to back any of the pieces. Instead, what I am actually going to do is I will add my own kind of flowers to it from the collection. I also thought about cutting it out a second time and then kind of piecing together, I guess, cut it out a second time in a different color. And then piecing together, like cutting that flower out and gluing it right on top of the green. So just lots of different options with this cut file here. I finally decided to use this black polka dotted paper as my border around the layout. I just felt like it helped the white and the green cut file pop so much more. When using a white background piece of cardstock, it's hard to kind of use a white background pattern paper for your border. I feel like if you do, there needs to be kind of a solid color breaking those up. And so by adding the black paper, it really just helps it pop a little bit. There was another, I think it was a floral black and with bright color flowers on it. And the reason I just picked the polka dot is because I knew I wasn't in love with the back side of the polka dotted paper. It had XOs on it, and I probably won't use that. So instead of using a paper that I like both sides, I chose one that I only like the one side. I still did gut it because I do like the black polka dotted paper. Originally thought I would use that to mat my photos as well, but didn't like the way that that really looked, I guess, on with my photos. So I have the Just Because, is it like the Bella Besties maybe, from Bella Boulevard, and I think the two collections match pretty well together. So I went in there and found that bright pink striped paper to mat my photos, and like the way that that just pops those photos out a little bit more. I like that Everyday Life title there. I like the size of it, and I like how it was more colorful than the Just Be You. The Just Be You was perfect, a perfect saying for these photos. These two are goofy, and in that top one, you can see my youngest kind of looking at him. He probably said something funny, and it just, I don't know. It warms my heart when I capture something like this with their personalities. And yeah. I want to remember those little moments, I guess, because they can be very goofy together, which I love. So thought about using a couple of plain flares from Scrap and Happy Studio for the larger flowers and then adding smaller ones on top of it, but didn't really love the way that that looked. So instead I decided to kind of move on to my title here, and kind of go through the floral ephemera pack and see which ones I want to use. Originally, there I had just a pink kind of floral cluster, and I, again, wanted more colors. And so I changed that to the more colorful cluster. And then I'm playing around with the different sizes. So just below my craft mat there, I kind of had picked out the singular flowers and arranged them in sizes. So that's kind of what I'm choosing from. Just kind of playing around. So anytime there were like leaves, I decided to add a flower. So on the very top, there were the 2 leaves on the vine. So I added a flower there. That pink one, I don't know. I'm just kind of playing around with the placements. I want them kind of even, but just had a lot of fun kind of, yeah, moving those around and adding them to this vine. I did decide to pop some of them up on foam tape. You can see I'm running out of this one. I actually took it, my oldest had a scheduled 24-hour visit in the hospital, and all of my foam tape, because I just left it loose in my bag, came kind of off. So that's why it looks like Tetris. Different pieces missing and scattered all over the place. So just taping down all of these flowers, and then the rest of the embellishment clusters are just going to be so simple. I love how bright my pictures are. I love how, you know, I've got the vine on the left side, but I really don't feel like much more is necessary on the right side. So what I am going to do is just add kind of a larger floral cluster to the bottom once I, remember to actually tape my photos down here. But a larger floral cluster on the bottom, and then there was a black phrase that says best friends forever, and so I'm going to overlap that on the floral cluster and then just tucked a piece of greenery underneath. It adds a little bit of dimension. I didn't pop that up on foam tape, but even so, because that floral cluster is on top of my photos, it just gives that a little bit of dimension there. So now just trying to decide how to finish off the layout. I felt like maybe the top right needed a little bit something. So kind of playing around, seeing what I have. This layout will go in one of my boys' albums, which if you followed me from the beginning, I used to be very strict on, I guess, not including flowers or pinks in my kids' album. But you know what? Look at the pictures. It is bright, vibrant, floral background, and so it's just appropriate to add all the floral things to this layout. So at the top, I had a tab I added. I think it says smile or happy. I can't remember which phrase. And I, again, layered just a floral cluster behind that. I felt like that needed a third piece, and so I kind of played around. There was that heart that I ended up tucking on the bottom cluster, that group of 3 flowers. I just didn't like the way that those looked, I guess, necessarily in that top cluster, but I also felt like it was still missing something. So going back to the other bag of ephemera, I found some butterflies, and so there were only 2. I wish there were 3, but I kind of tucked up the edges, just taped down the middle of the butterfly, and then added that to the top cluster, and then added that to the vine on the bottom. I wish I would have had a third for the top of the vine, but it is what it is, and I still love the outcome. So definitely check out Erica Rose Creates shop and use the code Melanie for, I think it's 15% off your order, but she's got cut files and collections and kits. So definitely check out her shop, and don't forget to use my code. Hope you guys enjoyed this layout, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.